I like living. I have sometimes been wildly, despairingly, acutely miserable, racked with sorrow. But through it all, I still know quite certainly that just to be alive is a grand thing. Very few of us are what we seem. The impossible could not have happened, therefore the impossible must be possible in spite of appearances. Perrault, I said, I have been thinking. An admirable exercise, my friend. Continue it. A mother's love for her child is like nothing else in the world. It knows no law, no pity. It dares all things and crushes down remorselessly all that stands in its path. An archaeologist is the best husband a woman can have. The older she gets, the more interested he is in her. If you place your head in a lion's mouth, then you cannot complain one day if he happens to bite it off. Instinct is a marvelous thing. It can neither be explained nor ignored. Everybody said, "Follow your heart." I did. It got broken. The best time for planning a book is while you're doing the dishes. You gave too much rein to your imagination. Imagination is a good servant and a bad master. The simplest explanation is always the most likely. One doesn't recognize the really important moments in one's life until it's too late. Never do anything yourself that others can do for you. It is really a hard life. Men will not be nice to you if you are not good looking, and women will not be nice to you if you are. If you are to be Hercule Poirot, you must think of everything. It's like all those quiet people. When they do lose their tempers, they lose them with a vengeance. Never tell all you know, not even to the person you know best. One of the saddest things in life is the things one remembers. The young people think the old people are fools, but the old people know the young people are fools. It is the brain, the little gray cells on which one must rely. One must seek the truth within, not without. I often wonder why the whole world is so prone to generalize. Generalizations are seldom, if ever, true, and are usually utterly inaccurate. Time is the best killer. In the midst of life, we are in death. The truth, however ugly in itself, is always curious and beautiful to seekers after it. Why shouldn't I hate her? She did the worst thing to me that anyone could do to anyone else. Let them believe that they're loved and wanted, and then show them that it's all a sham. But surely for everything you love, you have to pay some price. It is clear that the books owned the shop, rather than the other way about. Everywhere they had run wild and taken possession of their habitat, breeding and multiplying, and clearly lacking any strong hand to keep them down. Good advice is always certain to be ignored, but that's no reason not to give it. Everything must be taken into account. If the fact will not fit the theory, let the theory go. I know there's a proverb that says to err is human, but a human error is nothing to what a computer can do if it tries. I don't think necessity is the mother of invention. Invention arises directly from idleness, possibly also from laziness, to save oneself trouble. Words, mademoiselle, are only the outer clothing of ideas. But no artist, I now realize, can be satisfied with art alone. there is a natural craving for recognition which cannot be gainsaid. A man, when he's making up to anybody, can be cordial and gallant and full of little attentions and altogether charming. But when a man is really in love, he can't help looking like a sheep. I suppose it is because nearly all children go to school nowadays and have things arranged for them that they seem so forlornly unable to produce their own ideas. It's like all those quiet people. When they do lose their tempers, they lose them with a vengeance. If you confront anyone who has lied with the truth, he will usually admit it, often out of sheer surprise. It is only necessary to guess right to produce your effect. Everyone is a potential murderer in everyone. There arises from time to time the wish to kill, though not the will to kill. If you confront anyone who has lied with the truth, he will usually admit it, often out of sheer surprise. It is only necessary to guess right to produce your effect. The happy people are failures because they are on such good terms with themselves they don't give a damn. There was a moment when I changed from an amateur to a professional. I assumed the burden of a profession, which is to write even when you don't want to, don't much like what you're writing, and aren't writing particularly well. As life goes on, it becomes tiring to keep up the character you invented for yourself, and so you relapse into individuality and become more like yourself every day. One is left with a horrible feeling now that war settles nothing, that to win a war is as disastrous as to lose one. Everybody always knows something, said Adam, even if it's something they don't know they know. But I know human nature, my friend, and I tell you that, suddenly confronted with the possibility of being tried for murder, the most innocent person will lose his head and do the most absurd things. One of the luckiest things that can happen to you in life is to have a happy childhood. I often wonder why the whole world is so prone to generalize. Generalizations are seldom, if ever, true, and are usually utterly inaccurate. Words are such uncertain things. They so often sound well that mean the opposite of what one thinks they do. To all those who lead monotonous lives in the hope that they may experience at second hand the delights and dangers of adventure. Crime is terribly revealing. Try and vary your methods as you will, your tastes, your habits, your attitude of mind, and your soul is revealed by your actions. Many homicidal lunatics are very quiet, unassuming people, delightful fellows. Sometimes I feel sure he is as mad as a hatter, and then, just as he is at his maddest, I find there is a method in his madness. Intuition is like reading a word without having to spell it out. A child can't do that because it has had so little experience. A grown-up person knows the word because they've seen it often before. Dogs are wise. They crawl away into a quiet corner and lick their wounds and do not rejoin the world until they are whole once more.